What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today I'm back with episode 7 of the Bat Crazy Betty saga, and just in case you were wondering if things might calm down a little bit, they don't. If anything, they get even crazier. Now, just like last episode, we're still in the present day and stuff is happening sort of right now. At least that's what we're looking at in today's episode. Well, right now, over the past week or so. So these are current events that are happening as we sort of speak with Betty, Dan, and OP. So it's very much sort of like, yeah, this is crunch time. Things are getting very, very serious. They've obviously been mental in the past, but this is the present day. Police are getting involved, and no spoilers, but a criminal investigation is opened up in today's episode. So without further ado, sit back, relax. 3 posts to come in this one. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel with notifications on so you do not miss one of these episodes in future. Let's get in to this crazy set of posts. He left me a voicemail. I'm scared. I'm having to listen to it over and over so I can type it all out. I want you all to freaking read this trash. This gets very bad. Trigger warning. OP, please call me back. I don't know what to do. Mum is going crazy and I'm really scared. After you left, she tried to kiss me and I had to push her off. She slapped me and I had to lock myself in the bedroom because she started throwing stuff. I just don't know what to do here. She's still out there throwing things and I'm wondering, do I call the police? Do I jump out the window? I'm freaking losing it, babe. She's been telling me that you're crazy and trying to come between us and that she is the only one who loves me. We then hear her screaming in the background. No, Mum, please leave. I don't want to talk to you right now. OP, I'm just really very scared. Please call me. We then hear her scream at him again and hear banging. Please stop, Mum. I want you to go home. Please stop trying to get in. I'm so stupid, babe. I started going to her house more when you thought I was working. She's been hitting me and calling me names and threatening to hurt herself. I'm scared, babe. I hear the banging one more time. Please call me back. I called the police right after I heard this. I've not heard anything yet, but I'm very worried right now. I tried calling him, but he didn't pick up. I called again and no answer. I let my parents listen to the voicemail. They're also worried, and my mum suggested going over there, but Dad is too worried about Betty being there if we did. The text above doesn't even begin to describe the desperation in my ex's voice in that voicemail. He sounded genuinely afraid of her. I can't do anything but wait. If I hear anything, I'll let you guys know. Wow, what a start to this one. All right, I don't want to leave you guys on any sort of cliffhanger here. Let's get straight into the next post. Now, thankfully, the title of this one is He's Okay. I finally heard from him and the police. I hadn't heard anything, so I phoned our local police department, and after getting transferred around, I finally got a hold of one of the officers who went to the house. They told me when they got to the house, they were let in by an older woman who was acting hysterical. She brought them to the bedroom door and she told them she was worried about her son, who just got away from his abusive wife, but that he'd locked himself in and wouldn't come out. I told them she was the abusive one. I never abused him. I told them about the voicemail and they said he didn't accuse her of assault, but when he opened the door, he was visibly shaking and looked very scared. They suspected something was going on, but given he didn't point the finger at Betty, they couldn't do much. The cop separated them and spoke to my ex in the living room. He said he was upset because his marriage had fallen apart. When asked about Betty's accusations against me, he said I'd never abused him and his mum had lied. Betty, however, lied to the other officer, telling them that I was an abusive and controlling witch that was jealous of their bond. The officer told her that unless my ex files charges for spousal abuse, they couldn't do anything about that. The officer I spoke to told me that he asked Dan if he wanted Betty out of the house, and he said he did. He said that Betty became threatening towards my ex after this, getting very close to him and standing over him and telling him to tell them he didn't want her to leave. The officer said his partner took Betty by the arm and escorted her out of the house. She resisted, but after the threat of arrest, she calmed down and left without incident. I thanked the officer and hung up. I ended up calling my ex again, and this time he answered. He said he was okay, just very scared of his mother. He was worried she'd come back. He kept saying he was scared, so I told him to come to my parents' house. I woke them up and I told them what happened. To say they're annoyed is a massive understatement. Betty is a menace. Dan's here right now, sleeping in the guest room, and I'm in my old bedroom. I don't even want to think about the marriage right now. I just want to make sure he is safe and away from this cancer of a woman. All right, crazy scenes going on here. I mean, every single time she gets worse. Okay, and then the next day we got the following post titled "We Talked." So I just got back to my parents' place after an extremely long day. I was able to get in with my OB and get another round of birth control. I spoke with the divorce attorney and went to the bank and transferred half of the joint account into my individual account. My ex and I met up for lunch, and my parents were present at another table just to keep watch. We talked, and he told me a lot of truths that he's been harboring inside for years. He elaborated about what he said in the voicemail, that he's been secretly visiting his mum while he was supposed to be at work, per her demands, using guilt trips and manipulation to get him to bend to her will. He'd been skipping work and going straight to her house once or sometimes twice a week to cater to her. At first, the visits were casual and they would talk and have coffee. Eventually, it progressed into physical things like a lot of hugging and cuddling on the couch and watching TV. If she were in the kitchen or the bathroom, she would call for him to check her phone for messages she was expecting, only to have naked pictures of her on the screen, and she would ask him if she looked good without clothes on. He'd get uncomfortable and tell her he didn't want to see that. She'd get upset with him and then start yelling at him. During one visit, she tried to sit in his lap and make him hold her. He got angry and told her to get off. She began hitting him and ripping his shirts as she was screaming at him that he was a horrible son and he must hate her, and she wanted to harm herself. She'd refer to him by his father's name sometimes, and when he would tell her he wasn't his father, she would brush it off and say she meant to say his own name, then tell him to be a good boy and help her with whatever she wanted him to do. Household chores, cooking food, massaging shoulders, or cuddling with her, to name a few. She would routinely ask him about his and my sex life and asked about kids. He told her that we hadn't really tried for children, and she would demand that he get me pregnant as soon as possible so that she could become a grandmother. She would then ask creepy questions about what their children would look like if they had any. It got to a point where she would demand to check his genitals to make sure he was healthy. He'd refuse, of course, and she'd react by screaming, hitting, and threats of self-harm. The longer I listened to the absolute lunacy coming out of his mouth, I was growing more and more disgusted. I asked him, how long has this been going on for? And he said, 4 years. He then admitted that she stole my birth control and dumped it into the toilet before we'd got there yesterday, which was why I couldn't find it when I was packing my things. I didn't think it was important, as sometimes I forget to take it, so it wasn't on my mind at the time. He told me that she hadn't counted on my parents coming with me, and they'd ruined her plan to corner me and pressure me into taking my ex back and getting pregnant ASAP. Even if that were to happen, there is no way in heck I would ever allow that monster around any child I might have. After we sat in silence for a while, he asked about our marriage. I said that it wasn't important right now, but that I don't think us being together is healthy, and I'm still hurt by how he treated me for her. He said he was afraid of her. He thought he had no choice. I told him he always had a choice, and catering to her for 4 years like this has emboldened her to disregard the freaking law. She believes that she is untouchable, and he has allowed her to believe it. Even though he is a victim of SA from her, he could and should have ended it by going to the police a long time ago. He started crying and said I didn't understand the fear he felt. I said I'd help him in any way I could, but I won't resume our marriage with him as it was. We will live separate lives apart from one another, and there will be no cohabitating until I say so, if I say so. I do not want there to be any accidents where I might fall pregnant. I also stipulated that he will get into therapy to help him get through his issues. He tried to argue about living together, but I said if he didn't respect how I felt, then I'd be forced to wash my hands of all of this and proceed with the divorce as I originally planned. He agreed and dropped it. After we ate, we went to the police station. With some gentle words of encouragement, he told the police everything. He provided texts and voicemails that he still had on his phone as evidence, and I did the same. They will be opening an investigation, and they've given my ex the number for a victim's advocate and a list of therapists, because this is 100% SA. It may not have resulted in them sleeping together, but the detective said that if it continued, it would definitely happen. She had been methodically and emotionally breaking my ex down since he was a child. We were able to get to the District Court Commissioner's office and apply for PPO. After my ex detailed the abuse and said he is in fear of mine and his safety, it's been granted temporarily. We will require an actual court hearing to determine the duration of the PPO, and we're hoping to go for the maximum time allowed. Okay, just looked it up. Apparently PPO stands for Police Protection Order. Goodness me. Held by police officers to protect a child from harm if they believe there is imminent danger. Wow. I did expect some resistance from my ex, but he is surprisingly on board. I told him if he's just going to back out and go running back to her, then this will be the end of any interaction I have with him going forward. He assured me that he had no intention of backing out and he was ready to stand up to her. I'm skeptical, but we'll see what happens. In case you're wondering, yes, Betty has been calling my ex all day, blowing up his phone, demanding to know where he is. She's tried calling me as well, but I never answered. Out of concern, she might show up to the house. My ex will be staying in a hotel for a few days until she can be served with that order. We know she'll contest it, and I'm counting on it. I have years worth of proof though, and witness testimony to nail her flabby 56-year-old butt to the wall. Okay, wow, a lot to unpack in that episode. That is sort of where we're at for now in the present day. There is more to come, but we're going back a little bit further, and Opie's going to tell us a few more stories from back in the day. But yeah, as I said, for now, that's sort of where we're at, I suppose, in terms of what's going on currently, or at least a week or so ago at the time of recording. But yeah, scary stuff. So far, I don't think we've seen Betty actually try and kiss Dan. I think that's right. I mean, I don't think we've seen that yet. It's crazy that the detective is saying, look, if this continues, then maybe they've seen something like this before. That's why they're in a position to say, I think this is what's going to happen. But I don't want to misquote, but they literally said she will at some point try and sleep with you. Like, that was the aim, which is just an absolutely insane thing. But I think you, OP, have handled this as well as you possibly could have, because you're not like fully writing Dan off. You're not saying, look, I've broken up with you now, I'm going to get a divorce, therefore you're no longer in my life. You do still love this guy, or at least have loved him, and you are still, I think, in the right way, making sure that he's okay and helping him out and offering him safety, because clearly this guy needs it. You do as well, but he does too. Crazy stuff. But yeah, that is it for episode 7. Let me know down below your thoughts on all of this. Mental scenes. Next episode coming tomorrow. We'll be back, as I said, to an older story from Betty, but equally as crazy, if not probably more, judging by how this story is going episode by episode. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Turn notifications on. Even if you're actually subscribed already, hit the button so you don't miss when I next post an episode, because you do not want to miss the next installment in this crazy series. Goodness me. Catch you then.